I could sit here for hours. Everybody wants to go home.
Not to add fuel to the Rachel Zegler Oscar fiasco, but why did they have these women, all Disney princesses, all stated as Disney princesses?
What do you honestly expect? I mean, they had to stop actually promoting this film because the promotions itself were so bad.
Rachel Zegler didn't simply goof up, she blew it big time. The girl who was going to be Disney's next golden star is already getting silently booted out of Hollywood's greatest events. Her name gone from guest lists, her face missing from carpets. People in the industry are saying the same thing. Rachel Zegler is being frozen out quickly.
When you're just trying to get everyday tasks done, and there's people who actually don't really care about who you are but care that you're someone, it gets really disrespectful and you're like...
And everything goes back to one item, Evita. That rehearsal breakdown didn't simply make headlines, it violated trust. People close to the producers say it was a terrible mess. Zegler was allegedly clashing with the director, ignoring notes, showing up late, and basically acting like she was above it. Some crew members even started calling the whole thing the circus, and when the footage emerged, that's when everything changed.
Rachel Zegler is a PR nightmare. Every time she opens her mouth, it's crisis mode when it comes to Disney, having to backtrack. She talks about how this isn't a fairy tale about falling in love with the prince. This is a fairy tale about fighting your own battles. She's so woke, they've gone broke, that basically I don't even know if they can afford the big premiere this time, but you've seen Disney really scaling back on some of...
But this wasn't just about Evita. The writing was on the wall months ago. Remember when she dragged the original Snow White, criticized the narrative, acted like the position was beneath her? That interview didn't only rub fans the wrong way, it made studio execs worried. Suddenly the rising star wasn't so shiny anymore.
It is the real beginning of my life as a young lady of America. Of America.
And now it looks like Hollywood's done waiting for her to clean it up. No big remarks, no warnings, only silence. Cold, strategic, quiet. 1 minute she was wherever, the next vanished, replaced, forgotten. If this keeps happening, we might be watching the slowest career shutdown in years, and it's all occurring right in front of us.
Validating. A lot of hard work has gone into this film, but so much love, truly, speaking for myself and also for the filmmakers behind it, just so much love for the storytelling and for bringing something that means so much to so many people and bringing it to the modern age is really so special.
It all started with a fairy story, only this time the princess burnt her own kingdom when Rachel Zegler began advertising Disney's live-action Snow White remake. Fans expecting magic, what they received instead was a fireball. Zegler's remarks in interviews didn't only surprise individuals, they ticked off an entire fan base.
Not to add fuel to the Rachel Zegler Oscar fiasco, but why did they have these women, all Disney princesses, all stated as Disney princesses, come out to present, but like not include Rachel Zegler, who's going to be Snow White? They're clearly acknowledging Disney princesses from movies that have not been released yet. Someone must have had this conversation and then they purposely left her out, even though she was the only one with a hit movie this year of the four. Did anyone else notice this, or am I overthinking?
She didn't hold back. She termed the original Snow White bizarre. She joked about how the prince was practically a stalker. She said the 1937 classic was outmoded and made it plain she didn't perceive the new picture as a love narrative. To some admirers, it sounded like she was insulting the very character that made her famous.
I had no idea what I was auditioning for when I auditioned. So it's a kind of a hilarious question to say, like, what drew you to the material? Is that, like, I didn't realize that I was reading lines of Dopey. It said, like, Jeff and Amy were reading lines. And then our director, Mark Webb, on Zoom was like, and then Dopey's gonna look at you and whistle. And I took a pause and realized what I was auditioning for. And then it became like, I will elbow everyone out of the way to play the part.
The Backlash hit fast and it hit hard. Twitter blew up, featuring footage of her interviews. TikTok creators produced complete series breaking down anything she said. Memes poured. Instagram, even folks who didn't typically follow Disney news were asking, "What's wrong with this girl?" At first, Zegler stayed mute, but when she did react, her post came off as smug. Instead of clarifying or apologizing, she doubled down with mysterious captions and nasty tweets that simply made it worse.
You know that you've told me before that your version of Snow White is different and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird. So we didn't do that this time.
Behind the scenes, studios were watching. Executives don't like controversy related to billion-dollar brands, and Zegler was suddenly becoming a liability. Her once charming audacity was now being considered as arrogance, the kind of arrogance that terrifies PR teams and makes marketing departments nervous.
Imagine you invested into her being the face of the movie, and she's the main character and she's trying to promote the movie. Would this make you want to go watch the movie when she's starring in it and she's the main character? Go ahead, Rob, play the clip.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them,
She's a good actress.
that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Wow. The ego on this girl is ridiculous. Wow.
Fans weren't the only ones, turning even some influencers who earlier praised her begun to remove themselves. The vibe online switched from "she's so real" to "she's out of control," and just like that, the Snow White hype turned into a PR nightmare. What was meant to be a career-defining moment ended up being the commencement of a protracted, highly public slide. And the worst part, that was merely the beginning. If Snow White shattered the surface, Evita shattered it. This was meant to be Rachel Zegler's stunning comeback. The role, it would indicate she was more than just a viral headline, a respected stage. Give a legacy character a chance to reset the story. Instead, it blew up in her face from the very first rehearsal. Things began going sideways. According to various insiders, the vibe on set was tight from day one. Zegler apparently clashed with the director straight out of the gate, pushing back on notes, questioning blocking, and making what one person described as consistent creative demands. The production, which had been months in the making, quickly began to feel like it was being rewritten around her.
If I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
What reports suggest she skipped rehearsals, showed up late, refused heading. One source claimed she'd storm off mid-session if something didn't sit right with her, and then came the rewrites. Zegler allegedly requested modifications to lines, lyrics, even entire scenes, not through proper channels either, but right there in the room on the fly for a project as closely planned and big stakes as a West End revival. That kind of behavior isn't just irritating, it's chaos. Word started spreading fast. Crew members reportedly began calling the show the circus. One helper said working on Evita felt like traveling through a minefield every day. Someone else glanced like they were going to snap, and then some actually did. A veteran supporting actor reportedly dropped off the project altogether. A choreographer who had been element of the show since development discreetly unfollowed Zegler on social media and never came back. But the moment when really flipped the switch, the leaked footage, sources say it came from a security camera inside the rehearsal space. It depicts Zegler pacing near the front of the stage, visibly upset. A voice off camera, apparently a helper, director says, "Get her out now." Seconds after, security steps in. She's not tugged, but she's not walking out willingly either. The rehearsal ends. Everyone just stands there. That tape got its way into the wrong inboxes. Suddenly, discussions that had been going silently behind the scenes, were now front and center. Studios started pulling back, PR companies got cold. Foot the idea of Zegler headlining anything started to feel like a risk. She was no longer the future of the revival. She had become the cautionary tale. Once the anarchy of Evita poured out of the rehearsal room, Hollywood didn't waste time making moves. But here's the thing, there were no furious press releases, no public fallouts, only silence, the sort that means the damage is already done. Studios didn't make a moment, they just stopped calling Rachel. Zegler's name began silently vanishing from the places that matter. One insider said she was previously confirmed for a huge summer blockbuster press junket until she wasn't. Her name was pulled from the call sheet few days before. No explanation, no replacement, just erased. Then came the high-profile streaming summit. She was expected to be part of a talent display among other emerging stars. It had been teased on social media. Stylists were prepping looks and publicists were pitching press. Then suddenly nothing. She wasn't just a no-show, she was no longer listed. One PR assistant put it frankly, she's not welcome right now, period. And it didn't stop there. Luxury fashion labels canceled fittings. One source close to a major label commented, "It's not only about the clothes, it's about the image." And right now she's a risk. Even unpaid appearances were being reconsidered. That's how deep the cold runs. What's much more telling is the silence from her usual supporters. Studio social accounts that used to tag her in promos have ceased. Directors and castmates who previously praised her aren't saying a word. It's like everyone got the same memo. Don't bring up Rachel in Hollywood. That's not coincidence, it's coordination. And it's not just about protecting brands, it's about survival. Public image is everything, and being connected to someone who's suddenly seen as a liability can sink a project before it even starts. It's not an official blacklist, it's worse, it's a calm freeze out. No one's going to claim she's barred. They're just going to act like she was never part of the conversation to begin with. And the scariest part, if you're not showing up, not getting tagged, not getting booked in this business, you could as well not exist. The freeze out didn't stop with studios, it started leaking into Rachel Zegler's personal circle quick. The folks who formerly cheered her on shared behind-scenes selfies and labeled her the future of Hollywood. They've all gone quiet entirely. Let's start with her co-stars. During West Side Story, Zegler gave infinite appreciation for the cast and they returned the affection, but lately radio quiet, no retweets, no support, no evidence of friendliness. One source close to a planned ensemble project stated the cast was heavily urged to avoid discussing about Evita or Rachel on press trips. That's not usual. That's damage control, and it's not simply the actors, directors, producers, stylists, persons who used to publicly vouch for her are stepping back. A director who once proclaimed her the future of film hasn't liked or commented on a single post in weeks. Her go-to stylist suddenly started working with younger, more low drama skill. Some fans even observed a charity gala she was slated to attend last month went ahead without her. No mention, no explanation, not even a wish you were here. Then there's social media. Rachel, who was always active online, has gone mainly dark. No selfies, no